Page 110, Lone Star Waltz. On page 108, they have a review for harmonic interval review. I don't know about that, but all you got to do is match up the names of the notes with the music in the notes. You just draw a line, and then for the interval review, there's a line at the end. They want you to write the interval. Like the first one there on page 108, that's an interval of a fifth. Well, you can count these, calculate them if you need to. It's okay. You have a C and a G. You simply count up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's an interval of a fifth. They all work the same way. You can go through and do that. Eventually, you'll recognize and you'll just instantly know in the music, because that's both on spaces and there's a space in between. That's a fifth. And then you have to find over on the left column which one says C and G. It's got to be in that order. The C's on the bottom, the G's on top. And if you take a look at it, you'll see it's the second one. So you draw a line connecting the second one there to the top one there, and go through and have fun. If you have questions on that, feel free to ask. Keep in mind it says harmonic interval because these are played at the same time. That's what they're calling harmonic intervals. On page 109, we come into a technique of moving around more. They want to move up and down the keyboard in sixths, an interval of a sixth. So let's just take a look. If we start on a C, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is one more than a fifth. So I'm going to use 1 and 5. It's similar to where we've been in the past. I want to go up and down the keyboard. Well, isn't that cute? Got to do the same on the left hand. Now, how do we do that? This takes some practice. You can do it anywhere you want. My belly gets in the way, so I usually come up here. What I want to do is I'm down on it, and I'm using the wrist here, and I lift the wrist up. I'm leaving the arm where it is. I don't want to raise it all up. We don't want to move any more than we have to. We want to stay relaxed. So here, I'm going here, and I'm simply, as I come up, I simply go up one key. I leave my hand in this position. As long as I leave my hand in position, I should be okay. Go slow. Same in the left hand. I'm leaving the arm where it is, and I'm just flexing at the wrist on this. Not a lot. You don't have to come way up. Just a little enough to move the keys, because there could be a lot more notes than 2. We could be doing all kinds of notes. What I generally do is I'll focus on one finger, and it could be either one, doesn't matter. And I focus on getting that, like the thumb. I hold my hand in that position, the little finger should go along for the ride. I don't have to worry about the little finger. The problem with this is that you'll tense up because you want to hold that position. I don't want to move, I got to hold that position. Well, if you'll flex at the wrist, you can't tense up. They work against each other. You can't do both. So here, tense up as much as you want to, but when you go to do this, you have to relax. So make sure you're flexing at the wrist and just focus on the thumb and leave your hand in that position. You don't have to go fast. You gotta look at the keyboard, of course. Although eventually it'd be nice if you didn't. Where you can feel going up and down one key. Or you can focus on the little finger. Because generally in music, I'll focus on the melody note. And a lot of times in the right hand is the little finger. Because it's the higher note, so it's here. And I'll let the thumb go along for the ride. Again, if I'm flexing, I'm just focusing on the little finger here. And the thumb's just doing whatever it's doing. Same thing in the left hand. This takes time to focus on one finger and trust the other finger will do what it needs to do. And if it doesn't, it means you didn't keep your hand in that position. So keep your hand in that position, but make sure you are flexing at the wrist when you do this. Go Go slow as you gotta go. Get ready for the next one. I'm gonna focus on the thumb here. I'm gonna go from here to here. I'm thinking about the thumb, but I'm just playing the little finger. Thinking about the thumb. Get ready for the next one. The thumb's gonna go down, and the little finger just does whatever it does. Or focus on the little finger, because it's good practice to do both. Takes a little time to get it, but it is really important, and it does come in handy in this waltz. Speaking of the waltz, let's cover that. It's what, like 6 lines long or so, except there's a DC al fine at the bottom of page 111, so it's going to be longer than that, because remember, DC means go back to the beginning. Al fine means go to fine. You have to find where fine is, and you'll see that it's at the bottom of page 110. That also is where the thin and thick bar lines are, and that's good. That's the end of the piece symbol. So really, it's 8 lines long. Okay. I mean, they could have, if they had a room, they could have just printed out those 2 lines at the bottom and kept going, and you don't need the DC al fine. But they put in all those words that got in the way, and they didn't have room, and you need practice at DC al fine in anyway, so okay. Treble and bass clef, 3/4 time. It's a waltz, makes sense. Waltzes are in 3/4 time. Well, I think so, pretty much, aren't they? Let's cover it one hand at a time and make sure we got the notes and the rhythms and all. So starting in the right hand here, here, to start, because 1 and 2 and, 1 and 2 and 3, and then your thumb comes up, 1 and 2, and the thumb goes down. So I'm not moving the hand around, the hand's staying in, the thumb's just doing its thing. Then at page 111, now we come up. You just lift up and move. You're ending page 110 here, and you lift up and move. You may have to practice that. It's the end of a phrase where you're going to lift up anyway, and here you lift up and move. Now, again, I don't care which finger you aim. Pick one and just do that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Connect these as much as you can right now. 2, 3. And then third line down, you get the F and the G, and they went 3 and 4. That's okay, we can do that. Left hand, starting out here, C and G. And then a B and G, come down one, your little finger just comes down, that's fine. And then a broken chord. Okay, let's go to page 111. Second measure when the left hand plays, F and G. Don't worry about those dots, I'll talk about those later. Then the last measure of the line here. That's really all you're doing until the third line. Then the left hand gets to have some fun. You're up here. So you're ending the second line here. And the third line is here. Just lift up and move, that's fine. And then you're coming down. Just like you did in the left hand, or the right hand. This is the left hand, isn't it? Okay. Connect these as best you can. So let's put the hands together. This should be interesting. At the beginning, you're here. Not too bad here, because the left hand's just got dotted half notes. However, page 111, you're here. Now when you end page 110, you're here. But the left hand isn't playing at 111 at first. You just focus on the right hand, get it up and go in. And then as it's doing, it's here, the left hand is actually already there. So it's 1, 1, and then the third line is the right hand gets it. Once you can get the hands together, then go back through it a few hundred times and get rid of all the hesitation so it is a nice, steady beat all the way through, no hesitations anywhere. Then we think about the articulation. Well, they're introducing a new articulation symbol here, and that is that dot. You see it at the top of page 111. That's called a staccato mark. It means you disconnect the note. you have two flavors of music here, two flavors of articulation. You can connect the note like legato, that's what we've been doing with the slurred line. You connect the note, or you disconnect the note, and that's staccato. And there's different flavors of legato and staccato. We'll get to that later. Right now, you either connect it or disconnect it. So here, at the beginning, lift up. In the left hand, you just connect it as best you can. There's nothing marked. You can't really. It's okay to lift up. But then when we get to page 111, now this is connected. You can't really connect it, but do the best you can. And then the staccatos, and they only give 1 dot per chord. Okay, so both of those notes are staccato, even though they're not exactly. They can't be because there isn't room, but yeah, so it's both. And it flex at the wrist like we were doing before, only I'm on the key and I'm bouncing off. Boom, boom. And I come back to the key each time if I have time. So it's boom, boom. It's short. So it's... You get the idea? So it's bum, bum. Now if it goes quickly, you don't have time to put your hands on the keys each time. You have to do that, but it's a small motion. Don't come way up. It's a small motion if you do that. I don't want to, don't get into the feeling that you're hitting the keys, is what I'm saying. You're pushing them down gently, sort of, quickly, from above. It's like hitting, isn't it? And that's staccato. Now there's different lengths of staccato, because we can have long staccatos, short staccatos. So there's different lengths of staccato, and it depends on the music. That gets into interpreting the music. Now we start out with short staccatos, and we'll lengthen them later on. Just real short, however short you can play it is fine. Then finally the dynamics. Well, P at the beginning, that's soft piano. That's the melody, which is the right hand. Whatever you think soft is, that's it. The left has to be very soft. And then when you get top page 11, now it's loud. And they're telling you sort of loud for the chords. They don't need to do that. You should know that already, because really the melody's in the right hand here. Just make them, as I'm doing this, I want to hear this. And playing loud just means I'm using more weight. I'm not using more muscle or more tension, just more weight. Then on the third line down, we're going to go sort of loud in the left, a mezzo forte. Not as loud as the top there on loud, but just sort of loud. And soft here. Again, they don't need to tell you soft. You just keep the other hand softer, because as I'm doing this, I want to hear this. And that's the dynamics. You need to get comfortable enough with it you can kind of feel these dynamics. Then finally the speed. Moderate waltz tempo, whatever that is. You got slow waltzes and fast waltzes, and this is somewhere in the middle. Good luck figuring that out. I don't know. It's a range. It's not a set speed. Because I can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Those are quick waltzes. So I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Those are slow waltzes. Well, this is somewhere in the middle. Depends on how much coffee I've had. Now there is a note at the top there, at the beginning of this. Second time, both hands 8 VA. Which means after you do the DC, they want both hands to go up an octave. So then you just pretend middle C goes up an octave on the keyboard, and instead of here, you're up here. So when you do the DC, you go up there and you finish it up there. Well, that causes a problem, because how do you get up there? You're ending it here, and then there's no rest. You just got to get up there. Both hands are playing. Oh, isn't this fun? Well, we take advantage of whatever we can take advantage of to help us out. And here we have a staccato in the right hand. So we're not holding that down the full beat. We're done with it. And immediately after getting done with it, get the right hand up here. Don't wait. So it's here. So by the time this lifts up, you're already in position. That way all you got to do is focus on the left hand. You may practice it. That's fine. We practice hand movements in piano a lot, actually. Because you got to do the quickly. Because the beat has to go on. You don't mess up the beat because you're moving the hands. The beat is steady. And you do what you got to do to make it work. Now they've added a little bit of pedal. You don't need pedal on this piece. It's just fun. But they've added it, so let's see what we got. At the end of the first line on page 10, you're going to pedal that measure. Push the pedal down right after you play the notes here. Lift it up with the hands before you go on so we can hear the phrase. And at the end of the second line there, same thing. Push the notes down first and then the pedal. Lift the pedal up with the hands so there's a little silence before we go on. Or at the end, whichever. And that's the pedal. However, if you're going to use pedal, you put your foot on the pedal at the beginning of the piece and you leave the foot on the pedal for the whole piece. Don't be putting your foot on the pedal and taking it off in a piece. If you're not going to use pedal at all in the piece, you don't need to put your foot on the pedal, in my opinion. Some people say you do. I see no point. You can leave it off, but if you are going to use it, put it on there. There is a retardando there. The last two measures on page 110, it says second time retardando, meaning after you've done the DC, you slow down. That's all. And how much you slow down is up to you. It's a felt thing. It's, again, part of interpreting the music. You just slow down. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, off. I like to play it with you very slowly to double check all the notes and the rhythms. I won't do the dynamics, but I will do the articulation, the staccatos. So let's go ahead and play. I'll give us 3 counts. Let's just go through it slowly. 1, ready, and go, and 1, and 2. 2, 3. beginning.